Welcome to It Takes Two. I'm Blair.
I'm Chris.
And today we'll be talking about The Golden Bachelor, episode 5.
Hey, before we get into that, Blair, I want to tell the people to subscribe, like, share, comment on this show. This is probably going to be the last Bachelor series that we do. And we want to make sure that we hit it off well. You know, that we send it off well, because this series not really doing it for us. You know?
It ain't hitting on nothing.
Walk us through it, please.
Well, we come into the house. The ladies are doing water aerobics.
Okay.
Sandra's watching.
Hello, Sandra.
All of the ladies talk about how they're falling in love with Gerry. Faith is feeling a bit insecure because she hasn't gotten more time with Gerry since the first time she got the rose. Mm-hmm. And they are 1 week out from hometowns. Jesse says 3 of the ladies will be introducing their family to Gerry, so he's not even going to be doing 4 hometowns.
Yeah, what I would say is I don't know how I feel about like these women getting down about not getting a one-on-one. I would consider Faith a strong contestant. Mm-hmm. I don't know why I thought that. Maybe from the first night that she was there, when she came in on that motorcycle and that guitar, and
she got the first
rose. Mm-hmm. It's always the people that get the first rose. If you remember the Bachelorette with Braden, mm-hmm. he started feeling insecure when he didn't get a second date, a third date, and things like that immediately when he got the first impression. Mm-hmm. So it really boggles my mind sometimes when I'm like, how do you feel such a disconnect when he kind of connected with you first? It's kind of like the way, and maybe I view it wrong, the way I view the first rose is kind of like the first time. Mm-hmm. You never forget the first person that you know. So it's like, I don't see how Gerry would. I've never seen it so far. Mind you, I only watched 2 shows of these. Mm-hmm. To where they forget the first person they give the rose to. Mm-hmm. You know, so it was very interesting to see Faith like be down about not getting some one-on-one time.
Like, I can kind of get it just by the simple fact of, like, you got the first impression rose. Yeah. They were really feeling you. Uh-huh. So you're thinking that they're going to want to spend more time with you. Even with the situation with Braden, he actually got more dates than a lot of the other guys throughout the process.
Facts.
So I feel like Gary's trying to be fair and getting to know as many of the ladies as possible. And that is concerning for Faith because she's just not getting as much time.
He getting to know everybody. He's trying to be fair and trying to get to know everybody while at the same time getting to know nobody. Because he's getting everybody the same chance, so there's no one that he really knows. He's gonna
get deeper with.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Mm-hmm. So it's like, okay, you have how many kids? Okay, your daughter get married when? And it just stops there. Yeah. Because he haven't really committed himself to a person or committed himself to a group of women. I feel like all of them is in the same position. Mm-hmm. Continue.
Yep. Well, we find out who gets to go on the one-on-one date this week, and it is Faith.
Oh, so
she can rest now.
Please.
Well, Gary's driving in a Jeep to pick Faith up. Mm-hmm. They actually go on a helicopter ride. They land on a yacht and then spend their evening on the water.
Gary got a lot of money.
That's some ABC dates.
Oh, okay. My fault.
Yes. We go back to the house. Leslie is crying. She cried watching them leave. Some of the ladies were in the pool and they actually saw the helicopter pass over the house. And they were like, what if that's them?
Okay. It's always them based on what we see.
Yes. And Leslie's taking it hard because of her past relationships. They haven't been secure. Mm-hmm. And that's just kind of flaring up those insecurities in her. Even though she knows she's on a dating show with all these other women.
A dating game show.
Yeah.
Make sure you put that.
Dating game show.
Yes, there you go. You go on Google, it says it right there.
Yeah. Well, we get back to the boat. Faith and Gerry are sitting down for a snack on the boat. Gerry goes in to kiss her hard.
Okay.
And Faith, she talks about how her past was. She was a homeless teen.
Yeah.
And he was talking about how great she was at singing. She was like, I'm not really a great singer. It's just something I do to kind of help me soothe myself.
Okay.
And she, growing up, she felt like she wasn't enough. Mm-hmm. But having all of her interests and all that made her feel as though, she was whole.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's moved over into the men she's chosen as far as certain things not making her feel good enough.
Okay.
And Gerry ends up giving her a rose. So she's going to be going into hometowns.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And she tells him that she's falling in love with him. And then they get into a hot tub and they start kissing in the hot tub on the boat.
Yeah, that's what I don't get. when you're as old as these people, Blair, how far in your past can you go?
I think you can go back to your childhood and stuff like that. I think that some of that stuff still impacts you. And even like you said, when it comes to the men she's chosen, I don't think she's a widow like some of the other women.
Do you think she's just like unwed and just things just didn't get to that point?
Yeah, or maybe divorced or things like that. So maybe she hasn't had quite the love story as some of the women or even Gerry has. So I think because of that, she probably can pull from early in her life as to saying like why some of the decisions or people she chose kind of led her to where she is in certain ways. I do think some of the women who've had successful relationships or widowed and things like that, maybe they've had a fuller life in their adulthood when it comes to relationships, to where they don't necessarily have to pull back on like maybe dating in high school and things like that, unless it was like their high school sweetheart.
Makes sense. You're nice. For me, 30.
Okay.
That's the furthest you would go back with me. You're 60-something years old, maybe 70 or whatever, however old you are, Faith. I don't care about teenage years. I don't care about the years before that. I don't care about 20s when we was all trying to figure it out. How are you as an adult? Because at that age, you get to choose what you want to keep to better yourself, or you could choose what you want to drop. Basically what you learn from that time on. I feel like if we're at this age, like there's adults and now we're old. We're old people now. So like I understand, like, you know, as Blair said, you want to use it to try to give some type of backstory. I don't need to go back that far. Start at 30 years old. Tell me what you learned as an adult to get you here. You get what I'm saying? Things to that from the time when you was a child and younger or teenager, things that got you to an adult. Now teach me and tell me things about yourself that got you from an adult to an old person. You get what I'm saying? I don't need the whole backstory, but that's just me.
Yeah.
I seem like Gerry just loves hearing about people, and the more he hears about people, the more roses he has for people. Yeah. More than what he actually have a connection for. Continue.
Well, Faith gets back to the house with her rose. She's on the fence about saying anything about the date because it was so good. She kind of doesn't want to rub it in the ladies' faces. It's okay. Kathy's not here.
Yeah, she's not here. Tell. Kathy gone.
You can tell us what happened. And Susan is saying, we want to know. We want to know. And Leslie is just looking stank face in the corner, just listening, but just disgusted by it all.
Yeah. Continue.
Yeah. And she talks about the date. Of course, they see the rose and all of that. Now we move on to the group dates that everyone else gets to go on.
Yeah.
And they are going to a pier where there's rides and there's games. Teresa and Gerry have a sit down, and she tells him that she loves him.
Yeah, stop right there. Teresa, I don't believe you.
Okay.
I don't believe you, because Teresa went on this whole spiel about like, I really would love like to be chosen so you can meet my family. I love you. That's not, and you realize Gary's not saying I love you too back to these women.
No.
So like this Gerry, like Gerry, this facade I feel like you got on, this nice guy facade. Why don't you love these women? Maybe because you haven't took the time out to really learn them.
I don't think they should love him either. They don't know him like that.
But you know, I'm gonna get a pass to the women.
Okay.
Because at the end of the day, they trying to win his heart, and he trying to pick someone like to be with. I think Gerry, you should take the time out to actually like connect with somebody. You get what I'm saying?
These pity roses.
Besides you out here just basically hearing these people sob stories, and people basically like, please, can you choose me so we can go to hometowns? So I'm like, this is the most romantic list season of Bachelor as a Bachelor Nation pro I've ever seen. They're kissing, they going on these rides, they going on these extravagant dates. Gerry always driving these special cars, the new Bronco convertibles. These women hair is getting messed up. Thank goodness. You realize with these type of dates, he always got a white woman in the car. He ain't got a black woman in the car with the hair blowing.
I was gonna say, like, if I get my hair and my makeup and stuff ready, I do not want to have the wind just blowing me all around.
Sandra probably was chosen for one of these days, and she was like, okay, you're not gonna do that to me. And my thing is, this is the most romantic list season of The Bachelor or The Golden Bachelor I've ever seen. Because it just seems so, it seems like everybody is getting a participation, I think that's the word. Yeah. Trophy. They choosing the rose as a participation trophy, besides actually like we're building on something and things like that. It's like, oh, thanks for coming, here's a rose.
I'm sorry you had a bad day. Here's a rose.
It's like, no, like, who do you like, Gerry?
Yeah.
So you left off with Teresa saying, I love you to Gerry. Go ahead, Blair.
Yeah. And she just keeps talking about how she wants him to meet her family.
Yeah.
They end up making out on one of the rides. And Gerry is telling us in the confessional that she's a picture of safety and security. Mm-hmm. He has more one-on-one time with the other ladies. The other thing that stood out was his talk with Leslie. Uh-huh. And Leslie starts crying about past relationships, her being cheated on, mm-hmm. and just kind of that getting reignited in her, seeing Gerry going out on dates, even mm-hmm. though she's telling him he's not doing anything wrong. Yeah. He consoles her, and she says her feelings for him are foreign because she hasn't felt that way in a long time. Yeah. And she talks about how, you know, Gerry was looking back to make sure that she was safe on the ATV ride, mm-hmm. and nobody's done that for her. And he was telling her, like, you know, I'll be the one to do that for you. And she tells him that she's falling in love as well. And he tells her, you're my girl.
Oh, no, he didn't say I love you too?
You're my girl.
Yeah. Gerry, I see.
That's more than he gave Teresa.
He ain't giving nobody nothing. He's not giving... Gerry, you are about to go down as one of the worst contestants of the show. Mm-hmm. Nobody's not going to say it. Mm-hmm. I say it because, you know, you gave us your story, and, you know, I'm sorry about your story, but you are not doing a good job as the Bachelor, as the Golden Bachelor. Maybe I have too much high expectations because this is the first Golden Bachelor. Maybe they may continue it, or maybe they may end it with Gerry. But I'm like, the fact that you said something about Teresa gives you safety and security, she works in security. I'm like, okay, it's a play on her job. Okay, Gerry, good job. I ain't catch that. And like Leslie, like the show starts off with like basically this scene first, mm-hmm. and then we're back at the scene to where she's crying, and she's basically trying to put things on you. In my opinion, basically say like, you know, being cheated on and not being thought of and things like that. Well, you know, Leslie, you're on a game show. Mm-hmm. You're on a dating show. What they got to do with me? Mm-hmm. And please give me the age limit, because my age starts at 30. Blair says you go back to teenage years. Do not tell me about how you was cheated on back in high school. Mm-hmm. No. We start at 30 years old until now 71, however old you are. Mm-hmm. And if you're talking about, I've been cheated on when I was in my 20s, I'd be like, that don't count. Not for our age group. Yeah. You get what I'm saying? Maybe the feelings are foreign because, like you said, I think we was watching it and you said it's nice to give these old folks hope of love again, and that's nice and all. Mm-hmm. But I'm like, the way it's going so far, I feel like these people are being played. Yeah. All of them. Mm-hmm. I feel like even Gerry being played. Mm-hmm. Because I feel like Gary's not going through the experience with the intent to actually find love. Mm-hmm. I think he's going to the intent to feel love. And to get that feeling of, like, you know, someone likes me and I like somebody.
I feel like he's just trying not to hurt nobody's feelings. And I think that's all he's actively trying to do. How can you not hurt somebody's feelings with this, like, 16 contestants? Yeah. Like someone's feelings.
But
that's all I see him really doing.
Man. Continue.
Yeah. Well, we see Ellen and Gerry talk. Of course, she's talking about how she has strong feelings for him, and he says he has strong feelings for her. Yeah. Ellen is really excited to have Gerry meet her family. She just feels like it's going to happen. Mm-hmm. Ellen grabs his face and kisses him. Okay. And at the end of the group date, Gerry says that he's going to wait until tomorrow to give out 2 roses, mm-hmm. because he just needs more time to think about it.
Yeah, Faith already got 1 rose, so who's going to get the 2 roses, Blair?
Well, at the rose ceremony, the roses are given out. Mm-hmm. First rose goes to Leslie.
Oh, my goodness. I know Sandra go get that second rose.
And then the second rose goes to Teresa.
Wow.
So the women going to hometowns is Teresa, Leslie, and Faith.
How do you feel about this group of women that's going this meet?
I figured it'd be them. I was on the fence of whether Teresa or Ellen would be chosen, but Teresa has always been like a favorite for him, it felt like. So I'm not surprised of the women he chose. So
yeah. Mm-hmm. Who do you think he gonna choose at the end?
It'll be between Leslie and Faith. I think it might actually be Faith.
Yeah, I think he might go Faith too. Mm-hmm. I think the theory that he's choosing is the best looking old person is going to be my winner. That's what I think. Okay. But, you know, anything else?
That is all.
Y'all be good.
Bye.